Hey guys, Pichu here, and this is the 2015 Pichu London Cup Series roster. We begin with the 1 car of J. McMurray, and you'll notice that it says Ganassi Racing instead of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Well, DEI ended up shutting down after 2014, so the 1 went to the Chip Ganassi Racing team, and they've decided to pick up J. McMurray to drive the number 1 car for 2015. So looking forward to seeing Jamie Mack on track in the 1 for Chip Ganassi. Brad Keselowski running the number 2 for Team Penske, and Austin Dillon moves up from the 33 to the 3 car with the same team, the RCR team. Last season, he had a successful rookie campaign with a win even in the 33, and now he takes Jeff Burton's spot in the number 3. Kevin Harvick goes to the 4 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. He has been in the past couple seasons. He's going to run another season there in the 4 again. Number 5, Casey Kane stays with Hendrick in the number 5 Farmers Insurance Chevrolet. Trevor Bayne goes to the 6 car. He was in the 9 for a couple seasons with Roush Fenway Racing, but now he goes up to the 6 car with the same team. Alex Bowman runs his first full season in the Cup Series in the number 7 for Tommy Baldwin Racing. In the 8 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes to his father's team, Richard Childress Racing, going to be teammates with Austin Dillon, and he's going to take his 8 along with him, with Nationwide to sponsor his full-time campaign. Again, DEI shut down, so Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to find another team to ride, and so he chose his father's team to take the 8 team with him. Sam Hornish Jr. in the number 9 for Richard Petty Motorsports. Sam Hornish, he had a couple opportunities in a couple years ago in the PLCS, but he had to resort to running lower-tiered series to find another opportunity. And sure enough, another one came along, and he took it in 2015 in the number 9. And number 10 is Danica Patrick, back again for Stewart-Haas Racing. Number 11 is Denny Hamlin for Joe Gibbs. And 13 is Casey Mears in the Germain Racing Geico Chevrolet. He won 2 events in the 13 team last season, an unexpected run from this team, but they'll be back next season, and Mears hopes to make it farther in the playoffs and hopes to get another win or 2. The 14 will be driven by Tony Stewart for Stewart-Haas Racing, but there is a bit of a catch. Instead of Tony Stewart retiring next season like in real life, I'm going to have Tony Stewart retire in this season. And instead of Jeff Gordon retiring this season, I'm going to have him retire next season. And the reason is because Jeff Gordon actually ran 2 events in 2016. It kind of felt like awkward, having to take over for injured Dale Earnhardt Jr. in real life in 2016 when he just had like a big farewell season a while back. But Gordon didn't rule out like retiring completely back then. But those 2 races in 2016 Gordon ran ended up being his last races he ran as a driver. So I've decided to experiment a little bit and give it a little bit of a twist. What if Tony Stewart's final season was in 2015, and what if Gordon's season was in 2016? What if they had swapped seasons for their final rides? So I wanted to experiment that. I wanted to give that a shot and see what would have happened if they had swapped farewell seasons. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So Tony Stewart will retire in 2015, and Jeff Gordon retires the next season in 2016. Going to see how that will work out. 15 car will be driven by Clint Boyer for Michael Waltrip Racing. And the 16 is by Greg Biffle for the Roush Fenway team. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had a win, but didn't get to the top 30 to make the playoffs last season. But he is going to go for another ride in the Roush 17 again, for another chance in the playoffs. 18 is Kyle Busch with Joe Gibbs Racing. Carl Edwards in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing as well. I couldn't find the 19's 2015 scheme for Eris, so I'm going to have to stick with the throwback for this one in 2015. But still the same sponsor and same team and number. Matt Kenseth in number 20 also for Joe Gibbs, and this is the year Ryan Blaney makes his Cup debut in the number 21 for Wood Brothers, taking over Casey Elliott. Casey is going to run part-time in 2015, and then he'll hand the reins over to Chase Elliott the next season. Joey Logano in the number 22 for Penske Racing. He'll be back in the same team. And as I mentioned earlier, Jeff Gordon, he will not retire at the end of 2015, but rather he will retire at the end of 2016. So this is his penultimate season now for Jeff Gordon in the number 24. And Blasey Alexander is back in the 25. He had that unexpected run in the second half, including a victory in Martinsville. So Hendrick will sign him for another year. Before he had been running in lower tiered series looking for opportunities. But now, and then he finally had a full-time ride in 2014. And his win gave him another season at least with Hendrick Motorsports. And this time he moves from the 88 to the 25. Paul Menard goes to RCR and he's going to run the 27. And Brian Clausen stays for another year in the 28 for Robert Yates Racing because got to give Brian Clausen some love. Ryan Newman in the 31 for RCR, and also for RCR the 33 of Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon will make his Cup season debut in 2015 to race alongside his brother Austin. So Ty Dillon is now in the 33 as Austin ran that 33 ride last year. See how it worked. We'll see how his season goes down. David Reagan in the 34 for Front Row Motorsports, and David Gillen goes to the 38. He comes out of retirement. And David Gillen actually comes out of retirement and runs a 38 for Front Row Motorsports. James Buescher moves to a new ride with Chip Ganassi in the 40. So we wish him nothing but the best. A new opportunity for James Buescher in the 40. Kurt Busch drives the 41 for Stewart-Haas Racing. And Kyle Larson goes to the 42 in his second year with Chip Ganassi Racing. Eric Amarola runs the 43 for Richard Petty Motorsports. Michael Annett runs the 46 for his own team this year. Michael Annett is going to try to find his own team this year. Guess who's back? And I skipped over this number by mistake. Adam Petty is back in the 45, just so you know, running with the same team. AJ Allmendinger back in the 47 for JTG Daughtry. Jimmy Johnson's back in the 40 for Hendrick Motorsports. Justin Allgaier is going to be one of two cars for H. Scott Motorsports in the 51, and the other one is the 52, which will be shared by various other drivers. Jeff Burton is going to run one more race in his career in 2015. That's the Daytona 500, and then he will retire. Similar to Rob Moroso, he'll run one race in the season, and then he'll call it a career after that. So Jeff Burton will retire after the Daytona 500. His ride will be taken over by David Stremme. Yes, David Stremme, you heard that right. Because I've noticed in the other what ifs, they decided that they made David Stremme into a superstar. So I figured, why not try it here and see what happens if David Stremme does get a win or two in the 52. I wanted to see what would happen. So David Stremme takes over the majority of races in the 52, but he will not run the road course events. Marcus Ambrose will get to run the road course events in 2015. 2014 was actually his final season in NASCAR, but I thought it was a bit abrupt, so I decided to give Ambrose a couple more events in his career. He'll be running only the road courses in 2015 for this 52 team, while David Stremme runs the rest after Jeff Burton retires after the Daytona 500. So, yeah, I wanted to give Jeff Burton a bit of more of a proper closure for his career. Brian Vickers goes to the 55 for Michael Waltrip Racing. And this is the year that Virtual Racing acquires Martin Truex Jr. for their team. So this is the year that Virtual Racing and Martin Truex Jr. work together, and we'll see how far this team will go. And finally, the 95 decided to bring Michael McDowell back, and this time he's running with Levine Family Racing. McDowell also had to split time between lower tiered series, waiting for another PLCS opportunity to rise, and sure enough, he was able to find one with Levine Family Racing in the number 95. It's all about bringing drivers from the lower tiered series waiting for their opportunity up into the Cup Series. I guess that's what this season's all about in 2015. Anyway, some of these cars were painted by Griff Dog himself, and I will leave a link to those in the description below. But anyway, those are your drivers for 2015. This is Pichu London. I'll see you guys later.